Soma Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, we got a whole lot of stuff going on in the heavyweight division. A lot of people are anticipating a British showdown between, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Both champions, Fury having the WBC championship, and Anthony Joshua having every other one, basically the ones that matter. So it's an undisputed match. Most of the time you're down for undisputed, and we hear the manager of Anthony Joshua talking right now, Eddie Hearn, is basically saying, hey, listen, if the other sanctioning bodies, if the WBO enforces that we have to fight Alexander Usyk, who's the mandatory of the WBO, then we might as well just drop all of them, right? And we're still gonna fight. Right? So those are, you're gonna have to scrutinize these kind of statements, because this fight is supposed to be sold as the undisputed fight, where it's telling people to get out of the way of the undisputed fight, right? Because of it being undisputed, which that's what I'm talking about. Undisputed is undisputed. That's what you want to have in every weight division. Let's be consistent here. There's way too many belts out there. But when it comes from Eddie Hearn, it's a little hypocritical, because that's what we're talking about in the Deontay Wilder negotiations, just undisputed, right? At that particular time, you want everybody to get out of the way. You want Usyk to get out of the way. You want all the other sanctioned bodies to get out of the way, because it's undisputed. Well, that's exactly what Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua was. Exactly that, right? But we didn't have a problem with letting Povetkin get in there on a September date at Wembley Stadium, the same September date that the Wembley Stadium wasn't free to have the undisputed fight. But it got free for Povetkin, right? And we also were having negotiations for undisputed, and we're letting my guy, because Eddie Hearn, Dillian White, consistently call out Deontay Wilder when Deontay Wilder's trying to fight for undisputed. So it was pretty easy to just tell your guy to get the hell out of the way, right? Usyk's your guy too, by the way, right now. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay him. Now, let me just say something about Alexander Usyk. It's boxing royalty, period. Undisputed, and one of the most incredible things we've seen recently. We just didn't fathom what we saw, but the Cruiserweight WBSS tournament about 2 years ago was one of the most incredible things you ever want to see. It was 8 of the most elite fighters they had to offer at the time, and everyone was there, and Alexander Usyk came out on top, never fighting at home. It's one of the most incredible things you ever want to see. If everybody in that tournament was there, undisputed Murat Gassiev, undefeated Murat Gassiev, punching power. Morris Brightus, undefeated at the time. Dorticus from Cuba, undefeated at the time, was there. Marco Huck is the legend, the longest reigning cruiserweight champion, right? Mike Perez, looking in good form, going down from heavyweight, totally fit at the time, right? And there was about 6 of them with Usyk, right there. The other 2, one of them had a 28-0 record, 28-1 record with 28 knockouts. I think that dude's name was Kudryavtsev, right? That was one of the worst guys. And the other one was named Voracek or Vorachov. I'm messing his name with a W. He was like 53 and 3 or 4, right? That's who was in that tournament. That's one of the most incredible things you want to see in boxing. And then you got a guy who never fought at home, went there to their backyards, literally, and beat them and came out on top. And before he went in the tournament, he beat Michael Hunter. After he went in the tournament, becoming undisputed, right? he beats Tony Bellew over in his backyard. Dude, that's never being taken away. That's Hall of Fame stuff, period. He really doesn't have to do anything else. That's just so incredible, seeing as though what we see in boxing right now. So that's what Usyk is. So basically, if the WBO want to do whatever the hell they want to do with boxing royalty, then it is like that. Because there's no undisputed people. Once you become undisputed, you're a Hall of Famer automatically, or you should be. All hail Terrence Crawford as well. Also undisputed. Boxing royalty. It's only 2 of them. We don't have to use the word that much. Don't worry about it. It's only 2 of them, and it ain't that many trying to be. So, yeah, if WBO want to do something for Alexander Usyk, cool. But I'm going to tell you what's going on with Alexander Usyk. Bam. Remember I told you. Alexander Usyk, like I said way back, he going to act like he wants to get in the way of that fight just to get some money, right? So some, step aside money. I'm not in a hurry to for running, getting out the way. So say pay me to get out the way. But at the end of the day, I've been undisputed here. The quickest way to be undisputed is to let these 5 guys fight for undisputed and get the winner. If WBO and they give up the rest of the belts, it's gonna take too long. I'm 33 years old as it is. I ain't the biggest guy in the world, right? So I'll fight the winner of that. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So anyway, back to this undisputed. If that's what it is what it is. But anybody talking in the future about Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, good luck with that, because there's a huge Deontay Wilder problem, and the whole boxing world knows about it, and that's why I'm not hyped about the fight, because let me just tell you, it's a fight between 2 guys who knows a lot about glove tampering, and it's a good possibility that a whole lot of people don't care about the welfare of Deontay Wilder. Just get him out the way by all means necessary. There's a possibility that's there. So because of that, I'm not into that fight until we get everything. And when it's solved, then we can start talking about it. That's just my view. But in terms of a big fight for British boxing and all that, yeah, shoot, I would be a fool to say it's not that. So another little news, Gennady Golovkin did exactly what Bam I told you he was going to do. I'm going to get a guy Zemaretta with 5 knockouts, so I'm going to walk him down and look good doing it. And everybody's going to forget why I begged them to make him my mandatory challenger. And then after that fight, I can keep calling out Canelo. And everybody, says it's good. Like I said, bottom line, when it comes to Gennady Golovkin and Canelo, until they fight Andre and Charlo, I'm not hearing it. Period. It's not. No one wants to even see the 3rd fight. They're telling you that the people want to see that. You don't want to see the 3rd fight between Gennady Golovkin and Canelo. You would rather see Gennady and Golovkin and Canelo finally face the demons that they have and get to it, Andre and Charlo. That's what you really want to see. That's what it is. But we're not going to be able to see it if you don't say it loud. Right? That's what it's all about. But Undisputed, let's see what happens going there. But I think it's a lot of hypocrisy going on there. Just make sure you keep your eye on what's happening here. It's never been about really Undisputed between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. It's about them fighting each other, right? They both fancy the fight, like they like to say. They both fancy it. Anthony Joshua feels that, well, bottom line is there's no getting knocked flat on my face with Tyson Fury. I'm not going to have to really worry about knocking this guy out. I think that I have the more puncher power. I will probably get to him at some point in the fight and get him up out of there. That's what Anthony Joshua feels. Tyson Fury feels like this. I'm outboxing Anthony Joshua, period. That's an easy fight for me. He really believes that. If Anthony Joshua doesn't knock me out, and he's going to have to do it with more combinations. I don't really have to worry about one punch doing it. There have to be combinations. I can move enough to get out of the way of combinations. One punch can get anybody. So he feels he fancies that fight. He even calls it an easy fight. That's why the fight should happen. And then we got the nerve for this fight to be one of the biggest fights in British history. Hell yeah, we're trying to do that. It all means necessary. And if we can do it without fighting that dude with the one punch knockout power, then we're going to do it. That's pretty simple to me. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And we up out of here, y'all.